this is Michelle with Creative Operation, and I'm here today to share my design team project for Country Craft Creations for the month of December. And this is the last one of the year, and this one's going to be a big one. So I wanted to start off by telling you that, yeah, this is going to be a big project. I'm going to be using this amazing package called Simple Vintage Ancestry by Simple Stories, and it is so awesome. And I'm going to show you what I got in my design team package, and then I'm going to show you what I went back and bought because I fell in love with this line. And so I bought some more stuff. So we're going to make a big project, and I'm going to do this a little bit differently in that I'm going to show you my prototype, which I normally don't do, but I'm going to do it this time because I want to show you what we're going to make, and then we're going to actually make it again with all of this design team package paper. Now I normally don't do that. I kind of show you the finished product and then I show you how I made it, but we're going to do it together this time. And because it's so big and because I decided to do it this way, we're going to do this in 3 tutorials. So we're going to start off with making the cover and everything except for the front cover decoration. But we're gonna build the cover because it's gonna be a little bit different than you normally would have built. And then the second tutorial will be the pages, and then the third tutorial will be kind of the decoration of it, because some of the pages we won't decorate while we're building them, but we will decorate them later. So we're gonna have this in 3 tutorials, and we're gonna do this all together. So this is really cool. So let me show you super quick what I got in my design team package. So some of the papers I have already cut because I'm getting ready for the tutorial. But I got this beautiful collection, and I got 24 pages of the papers. And I gotta tell you, I mean, I'm like in love with this paper. I mean, seriously, I bought a whole bunch more to go with it because I just knew that this had to be a big project. So the papers are just stunning. The colors are amazing. This is so perfect for a vintage family tree type album that I just got super excited. Tamara did do a tutorial, and she did a large book also with this paper. And I mean, it's just, how can I just, the images are so beautiful. I just could not, you know, justify cutting them up. So that's why I kind of wanted to do like a bigger album. So I normally do, you know, 3 smaller projects, but this one's going to be a little bit more extensive than my usual, but but we're gonna do this. This is gonna be awesome. So these are the papers. I mean, just look at the colors. I mean, they're just absolutely stunning. The collection also came with a lot of cut aparts. So these are the backs of the cut aparts because I'm gonna use these and save the other sides for the cut aparts. We're also going to be doing something really super cool with this page. I think you're really gonna like it. I really wanted to incorporate this family tree graph into the project, and I have figured out a way to do this, and we'll talk about that when I do it, but this is gonna be an awesome little piece. And then look at the cut aparts. I mean, for the decoration and for, you know, everything. I mean, just stunning, 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 stunning. So the papers are gorgeous. I was also given these beautiful floral accents made by Prima. These are all from Country Craft Creations. These were in my design team package. And then I got these foam stickers from Country Craft Creations. These are the were in my design team package. So this is what I started off with, along with the chipboard that I'm going to be using. And then let me show you super quick what I bought, because you're not going to believe this. So I went back to Country Craft Creations and I bought packages of now you can get these. These are the packages of coordinating cardstock that go with the paper collection. And I want to say, I'll just open it up so I can show you real quick, because you guys are going to want to go and buy this for yourself. So there are, let's see, there's 6 pages in each package, and so you get the fronts and then you get the different colors on the back, so you have lots of choices. So I got a couple of those. Let's see, what else did I buy here? I bought everything. I bought the bits and pieces. I bought the chipboard frames. I bought the layered stickers. I got some chipboard stickers. Let's see, what else did I get? I got, let's see, I've got the self-adhesive brads. They're not even like the poke your paper brads. They're the self-adhesive ones. So I thought that's awesome. I got the portrait bits. Let's see. I bought the 6x6 pad. I bought the sticker book. I know you guys are like going, I went crazy. I bought another sheet of sticker. Well, not another. I bought the 2 sheets of stickers because I needed that. And then I got, and this is in a bag, but I got the washi tape that goes with it. Oh, wait, there's more. Oh, and the little baby frames. I got the baby frames too. So I got everything. So I'm really super excited about this project. I mean, like I said, I loved the paper and I loved the colors so much. I mean, this really, really excited me. So anyway, I'm probably not going to use every single bit that I bought, but I'm sure going to use most of it. That's for sure, because there's going to be some fun to be had in this album. So then let's real quick talk about, let me get this out of the way. Let's show you what we're going to make. So I made the prototype project because I always do that because I really want to make sure that I don't mess it up and I, get the dimensions right, work out any problems that I might come across as I'm designing, and I think all of us designers do that. I really try hard to make sure that you have a project that's easy to put together, but I've worked out all the kinks, so hopefully we won't have too many of those. So I always make a project to try out my ideas, and this is what I had done. Now, these papers are Graphic 45 Woodland Friends, and this is also available at Country Craft Creations. I did look that up, and these papers are available at Country Craft Creations, so you can go there and get these papers if you would like. The papers were given to me by Sheila in the Secret Santa stocking exchange that I did, the swap that I did through Country Craft Creations. So if you're not a member of Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations on Facebook, you really need to go and sign up. And then from there you can get into all these great craft groups, and the swap group is amazing, and this was amazing. And Sheila, thank you so very much for the papers. I mean, they were gorgeous. So when I saw those papers, then it spawned this project, and then I knew that this package was perfect for it. So anyways, this is what we're going to make. So I am making a wraparound cover, and that's what we're going to work on today. And when I call it a wraparound, I mean it's a wraparound because there's a spine here and then there's a spine here, okay? And I'll show you how to put this all together. But this book is amazing. So I added flowers from my stash here, and then these are some of the package that Sheila had sent me, the Graphic 45 die cuts that I made the cover out of, and then I used one of the little banners that says "Simply Enjoy It All," and I thought that was a perfect title for it. I used one of the die cuts on the spine. This is a little owl. It says "Be Curious." And on the back here, now I didn't have as much paper as I ended up going back and buying, so I did a technique where I kind of did a patchwork piece here and made the front cover and the back cover, but I thought that the colors were really cute together. And then I put the keyhole here. So that's kind of the cover, but you can see this book it wraps around. It's held together by magnets up here, so you totally could add ribbons and then tie over this as well if you wanted to, but I do have magnets in here that help hold this shut. And then when you open it up, it is a double-sided album, and these mirror each other. So I'll show you one side, and then you can see what I'm talking about. But because of the nature of this paper, so this is a family history album. This is a family ancestry album. So what I wanted to do is kind of do a his side and a hers side of your family. So I got really excited about it. So that's why I wanted to mirror it. So this side is this side, just mirrored, and then they're attached to the actual inner spines that close here. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because I wanted to kind of have kind of a 2-in-1 album, and that left the middle spine open. But let's go through this and talk about it. So again, I wanted it to be a his and hers style album, so I wanted a lot of opportunity to put, like, you know, my side of the family, and then have a really good spot to put my husband's side of the family. And then this would be an album that I could hand down to my kids, and they could hand them down to my grandkids. So that's what I was thinking when I did this, and that's why it's so big, and I got really excited about it. So we've got some elements here. So the front cover, magnet closure here, and then we just have our waterfall pages. I left them plain because I'm expecting to put a whole bunch of pictures in here, and I did my stacked waterfall technique, so we'll go through that. If you haven't seen it before, it's a really cool way to do a waterfall, and it's pretty easy. I have sometimes a hard time with making waterfalls when you're piecing together each page, and came up with that kind of idea, and it worked out really good. So we're gonna do the stacked waterfall thing, and then you'll also notice this has 3 pages that are stacked with things to do on them, but they're graduated. So if you look at it from the top, you can see that the top page is a little bit smaller than the next page, and that's a little bit smaller than the last page. So it kind of has a graduated feel as well when you open up the album. So then we open the page, and then we're going to have, sorry, I'm knocking everything down. So we're going to have a gatefold closure, and I'm doing a kind of a wraparound magnetic closure here. So you could use a 3x4 cut apart here on the front and the back, which is what I did. You could also put a picture here if you wanted to, and then it opens up for more photo opportunities. And then I did, all the embellishments are done so that, you know, you can stick a photo underneath it and everything. So that's that page, the gatefold page. Now this page has a lot of interaction. So it closes with this seam binding, and then this part opens up to create a space for 2 photos, and then it opens up another time, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull it down so you can see. So on this one, I held it together with a paper clip, this really nice, cute, giant paper clip, tied a bit of seam binding to it, and then this opens up to create more spaces for photos. Okay, and then on the bottom, let's close that back up again. On the bottom, sorry, it's big. I told you it's big. So this flap opens up, and then what I did was, let me, oops, sorry, my stuff is getting in the way. What I did was I created a space to where there's a pocket up here and a pocket up here, so that if you put loose photos or you put like cut aparts like what I did, then when you put them in here, they're kind of caught in there, so when you open and close, they will stay in the pockets. Okay, so we're going to do that element, and then it just shuts like this, and then it shuts down like that, and then it ties with this seam binding, and then that keeps everything all in place. So then when you turn this page, we have a pocket page, and we have the cut aparts in there, and those hold closed a waterfall. That is what I'm calling a double waterfall, because you just, you know, folds in on itself, and then the cut aparts will help hold that shut. So we have that, and then here I put one of the little, this one I adhered it all the way down, but you could put a picture here too if you want. So then this page here, we have a fold out, and it closes with the seam binding, and then the top, let's move this down, it opens up. I left these blank because they're going to have pictures, so you have opportunity for lots of pictures there. The bottom folds out the same way, and then you have, I made a tuck spot here that I put some of the little pieces and cut aparts in behind there, so you can have that, and then big opportunity for pictures here. And then that just folds up and then closes with the seam binding. There's a lot of room for pictures, and then there's lots of opportunities to put pockets and tuck spots and everything else, so you could pack this full. This page will open, and then there's a giant pocket, and this would be good, especially in the other version of putting like maybe documents in here. If you have any printed documents, if you do like Ancestry.com, or you have anything that like your family has given you, this is a really nice big pocket, so you can put that in. And this is a 6x8 tag that I just created, and you could totally put pictures on it. You could decorate it. Depending on what papers you use, you could do documentation, whatever you want. Then we're going to create this little corner pocket, and it's just a little tuck pocket. And again, I just put some cut aparts in there for that. And then on the back, we're going to have this nice belly band. And I used one of the die cuts as a stopper here so that your objects won't fall through. Again, a nice big tag there. So both sides are basically the same. They're decorated a little bit differently, but the pages are mirrored, so they're the same construction, just done in a mirror image. And then I added this closure for a couple different reasons, because when you open up the album, I didn't want the pages flipping around, but then it also helps keep the form of the book so that when you close it and catch the magnets, then it stays together. Okay, so that's kind of a simple, brief explanation of what we're going to do. Now let's get started. Today we're going to do the cover. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me put this out of the way, and I will grab what we're going to need for our covers. So we have, we're going to do some of the pattern paper, so we'll take care of that. So we're going to do some pieces here. Let me get these in order. Two of these I already had done because we're going to do them on camera. We're going to do two more. And then, let's see, we're going to put that over here for just a second. Here's what you're going to need. So this piece, you're going to need 2 pieces of chipboard for the base, front and back. One piece is going to be an 8x10, and this one is going to be the front cover. Let's go ahead and just write that on there so that we remember, okay? So the front chipboard is 8x10, and then the cardstock to cover, both of them, is 10x12. So you will need 2 pieces of cardstock that are 10x12, okay? 1 piece of chipboard that's 8x10, and then you're going to need the back chipboard is going to be 7 7/8 by 10. And the reason why is because, let me show you. On this one, I didn't do it, but I'm going to do it on this one. I made the back cover just a wee bit less wide because I want this to match a little bit more flush, okay? So that's why you don't have to. It worked on this album, but I think it's going to look a little bit nicer if we just take off that extra 1/8 of an inch. So the back cover will be 7 7/8 by 10. And this is the chipboard, okay? And then again, you will need a 10x12 piece of cardstock to cover that one, and we're going to go over how we're going to do this. Okay, then you're going to need 2 pieces of chipboard here that are 2 3/4 by 10. Okay, now this one I already wrapped, and the paper that I used to wrap it is 5 3/4 by 12. So you'll need 2 pieces of that. And I've already taken care of this one. We will do this one on camera. Okay. Then we're going to need 1 piece, this small inner spine piece, and I didn't write down the measurement on this one. This one is 1 3/8 by 10. Okay. Now, again, like I always do, I'm going to have a cutting list of all of this down in the descriptions below. And then I'm also going to have a visual cutting guide for the cardstock on my blog. So I will have a link to that as well. Okay? So don't panic if you don't get these written down right now. And that's the good thing about videos. You can always stop it and go back and relook at it. But this one is 1 3/8 by 10. Okay, and then the piece to cover that one, the cardstock, will be 4 3/8 by 12. All right, and then we're going to need some inner pieces, and these are going to cover the inside of our cover. So we're going to need 2 pieces that are 2 by 9 7/8. Those are going to help cover the inside spine. And then we're going to need another piece here that's going to cover the inside middle piece of the spine. And it is 5 3/4 by 9 7/8. Okay, so that's what we're going to need to actually construct the actual book. So let's get started with that. So we already got some of the pieces covered. Let's go ahead and cover this piece and then let that dry, because these are going to kind of be important, and we use a lot of glue on these. So I want to do it so I can let it dry. So I already prepared all my chipboard by using score tape sheets and stuff. So I'm gonna, no, I don't need that. Yes, I do need that. Okay, so what we're gonna do is grab, this is one of the larger spine pieces, so 2 3/4 by 10, okay? Put the score tape on it. You're gonna have your cardstock that's 5 3/4 by 12, and we're gonna grab our spacers here, and I'm gonna put the inch spacer at the top and a 1.5 inch spacer here at the side, okay? These will create these wings right here that we're gonna use to attach them to the front and the back covers, okay? So grab your chipboard, and I'm going to take off my score tape things here. So I'm super excited about this project. I mean, I got to tell you, I love this paper. It's right up my alley. I just love it. Alrighty, so we're going to glue that down. What that's going to do is give us 1.5 inches on each side. It's going to give us 1 inch at the top and the bottom, okay? And then we're going to get rid of this. We're going to grab our bone folder and go on the outside. Go on the outside of your chipboard and just run it down the sides of the chipboard on the top, because we're training the paper where it needs to go. All right, I know y'all have seen this a lot. This is a technique that I learned from Country Craft Creations from Tamara, and it works really, really well. It's called a lay flat cover, and it works really, really well, and a lot of people say that it's a lot easier for them to do. So I started doing it. It is easier to do. It does take a little more paper to do it this way, but it works out really, really nice. Once you get it scored all the way around, I'm just going to kind of bend it and help it go around my chipboard, okay? Then what I'm going to do is fold the bottom up. This is the part that we're going to glue down first before we do anything. And then I'm going to take my bone folder and kind of make sure that that cardstock gets wrapped around the chipboard, because you know the chipboard is a little bit tall, and you want to make sure that the cardstock kind of wraps around it, because it won't lay flat. It's not like, you know, wrapping around a piece of paper. You've got this chipboard here, and it has to kind of be molded around it. So I like to kind of go around and do that, and then I, you know, usually hold that piece tight against the chipboard and then push it out, and then that way it kind of keeps that molding around it. Okay, so we're going to do that for both. So I'm just going to fold that up, and then I'm just going to go to the side here and just kind of mold my cardstock, and I hold it and then push it down. And it's going to kind of angle it just a little bit, and that's fine because we're going to cut it off anyway. And angle it a little bit more, so it's not a big deal. Okay, so then once you do that, get your art glitter glue. I haven't been using score tape for this part. I think that the glue works much better, but I usually use score tape on the other pieces, so go figure. All right, get that off my table, and then I'm gonna just hold that down, make sure that that gets down, push it around, and then fold it down and get that adhered, okay? There we go. Wipe up your excess glue. Okay, so that's good. Then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. So I'm going to put a little glue around the edges of the chipboard, and then I'm going to put glue all on this. Okay. I'm going to fold it down, get it stuck, and then I'm going to do that. Okay. So one of these is going to end up being the spine piece. So like the normal kind of spine piece. And then the other one is going to be the wraparound for the other side. Okay? All right. Okay. So now I'm just going to sit this to the side and let it dry. And then we'll trim it later. All right. So then what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing with the smaller piece. This is going to be kind of the inside wraparound piece. Okay. So you need the 4 3/8 by 12, and you need a chipboard piece that's 1 3/8 by 10. We're going to do the same process here. You get my inch one and get my 1 1/4 inch here. And let's take off my score tape. So when I use score tape sheets a lot when I'm making covers, and I get those at Country Craft Creations also. And then pieces that are left over make great little filler spots for doing things like this. So I keep those, and then I can use them to kind of fill in pieces. Okay, so we're going to stick that down. Now this is another spine, so that's why I use the 1 1/2 on each side. Then I'm going to grab, we're going to do the same process again, so you're going to get to see this again. So this is for the smaller piece that's going to be on the inside. All right. So again, fold it around, go around the chipboard and kind of start training it. Okay. Okay, then what we're going to do, same thing, we're going to fold that up. We're going to burnish those ends in against the spine, like that. Okay. Okay, get our glue around. Fold that over, get it stuck. And here we go. Now I'm also, I've got to tell you, I'm also excited about this project because I'm thinking that this is an awesome kind of New Year's project to get started. If we can get it done, for the end of the year, and then you can spend like, a little time here and a little time there all through the new year, 2021, documenting your family history, which would be really cool. Give you time to get it all ready to go. I just thought it was a cool kind of, let's start the new year, celebrating your family, your ancestry, where you came from. I thought it was a cool idea. So, I hope you do too. Okay, so again, I'm going to burnish those down, make sure they're nice and tight. Okay, let that sit and dry for a minute. Okay, so now the covers we're going to wrap all the way around on all 4 sides. So we're going to do these a little bit different. So again, the front chipboard is 8 by 10, and the cardstock to cover it is 10 by 12. The back chipboard is 7 7/8 by 10, so it's 1/8 of an inch less than the front. okay? Cardstock to cover, same thing, 10 by 12, okay? Just to make it as easy as possible. Okay, so let's turn this over. We're gonna put this down. Now this time, we're gonna use the 1-inch strips on the top and on the side here, because there's going to be about an inch, a little bit more on the one side because we trimmed it on each side, okay? So let's take off our chipboard. And I usually just use my fingernails for doing this, but like I just did my nails this morning and I don't want to mess them up. So I'm trying to be careful. I'm trying to use my tools instead of my fingernails for the most part, but I'm probably going to revert because my fingernails are like my best tool. There we go. All right, so I'm going to stick that down. Get rid of my spacers now. I'm done with those. And I'm so excited. I'm going to be getting the other ones here real soon. The ones that are sold at Country Craft Creations. I'm excited about that. They're plexiglass and they're made specifically for Country Craft Creations. And they're going to be a lot more durable than the chipboard because my chipboard's already starting to wear out. And I haven't been using them that long, but I guess I use them a lot, so that makes sense, huh? So we're going to do the same thing going all the way around your chipboard, okay? We're still wrapping it around the chipboard, so I still want to try and train it to where I want it to be. And then I just like to kind of fold it over a little bit. All right, once I get that done, then I'm going to grab my score tape and I'm going to put the score tape on the edges. This is going to be wrapped all the way around. And then the spine pieces that we have just made are what's going to attach everything all together. Now, Tamara did do a deal where you can attach them on the outside or the inside. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to attach them, and you'll see, to the inside. And I need more score tape. Where'd my other score tape go? Ooh, I'll use this. No, I won't. I will use this. Okay. This one's a little bit smaller. It's not quite half an inch, but I only need like one more piece. 2 more pieces, and then we'll be good. Okay. So here we go. All right. I love score tape. Score tape rips so easy. It's so nice. You don't need scissors. It's great. Okay. So, once you do this, then grab your scissors, and then we're going to cut off a corner, 45-degree angle, roughly. You don't have to get too crazy about it, but you do want to make sure that you leave about 1/8 of an inch of cardstock, and don't cut it too close to your chipboard, okay? You need a little bit of cardstock so that we can cover the corners, and I cut that a little bit too wide. But you want it roughly at 45-degree angle. You want it to be about 1/8 of an inch away from the chipboard so that you can cover it. Okay. And then what we're going to do, now we're going to take off our score tape. Okay, almost there. Definitely takes longer, but I don't want to ruin my nails. Did them for Christmas. I don't know why. I'm not doing anything for Christmas. I'm going to be in my house by myself, me and my husband and my dogs. Okay, so once you do this, then I usually do the mantra top, bottom, side to side. So I will put a little bit of glue at the edge here, and then I'm going to just fold it over and stick it down. Get it out of camera a little bit. Okay. So top, bottom, side to side. Drop my glue. There we go. Okay. And then make sure that that's stuck down nice. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my fingernails because, you know, that's the best way I know how to do it. And I'm just going to nudge those corners in from the side and mold them around the chipboard here. Okay. And then I'm going to take my glue. You can also use your bone folder too. I just find it harder to do for myself, but and then glue it down. Okay. So if you're going to use your bone folder, then just kind of come in from the side and nudge it in there. Okay. All right. Use your glue. And then stick it down. Then you could take a bone folder and you can do that. Oh, there we go. All right. And then I usually like to make sure that everything is flat to the edge of the chipboard, which is nice. It makes a nice edge. Okay. So we've got our front, we've got our back, and we've got our side pieces. So how this is going to go together is let's see, I'm going to grab some different score tape. Okay, so how this is going to go together is we have our small spine, which is going to go clear on the right, and then we're going to have our back cover, and then we're going to have our inner spine, our front cover, and then our side spine, okay? So these pieces on the ends are going to end up being the pieces that are right here. So we're going to wrap the sides because they're only going to need one wing to attach everything, okay? So this guy here, we're going to take and I'm going to trim off, you know, we're going to miter all the corners because that's what we're going to do. Be careful that you don't cut too close to the chipboard or else it'll show. It's not the end of the world if that happens. You can get a Sharpie and you can color the chipboard and then nobody will ever see it. Okay, but one of these sides is going to have to fold completely over. Now, we're going to have to trim a wee bit off of it because it is cut so that this is 1.5 and the chipboard here is only 1 3/8. So I'm going to take a little sliver off of it. Let's do that. I'll trim it up just a little bit. We are going to cover it, so don't worry. All right. So I took a little bit of the edge off so that when I fold it over, okay. All right. And then we're going to just simply adhere that down, okay? So I'm going to adhere it down just like I would do, you know, with my other pieces, okay? Like that. And that. Okay. And fold that over. Of course, I forgot the glue to put at the edge, but that's okay. You don't necessarily have to do that. I like to, but I got so excited I didn't. Okay, so that piece is good to go. Okay, so it's going to attach here. All right, we're going to leave these wings alone, except for the fact that we're going to miter them a little bit. We didn't do that. So we're going to miter this one. There we go. Get rid of these pieces. Okay, that'll be in the middle. And then we have this piece here that I had already made, and I've already mitered the corners. But this one, we're going to have to fold one side over as well, okay? So we're going to just do that, repeat that same thing. We're going to fold it over, grab our score tape, okay? Put some score tape here. Put some score tape here. And again, you're only going to wrap the one side. Okay? And this time, we'll use a little glue on the edge here. And take our score tape off. And I'm going to fold it over and stick her down. Okay. All right, so this is how we're going to have our pieces, okay? So grab your scoreboard, and I'm going to do this because I really want my edge here. I want to have that help me get the pieces out of the way, okay? So let's start with, and we're going to do this kind of upside down, okay? So we'll start with our wrapped 2 3/4 by 10-inch piece, okay? So the one side is wrapped. We've got one wing left. We're going to lay that down. And then we're going to grab our front cover, okay? And this is going to be upside down, so let me put this here just so you know. And I'm doing it upside down so I can line up the top edge here and hopefully get it nice and straight, okay? So I'm going to put this there. Let's grab some score tape. So when you do this, you want to put your score tape down. We're going to put down a couple of strips, and then we're going to use glue. Now, don't put the first strip too close to this fold because you don't want the score tape to show when you are using your book. And you also don't want to put glue here so that it sticks to the paper and then could possibly rip it. So you don't want to do that, okay? So you want to put down at least 2 pieces of score tape. So one kind of close to where the score is near the chipboard, and then one at the edge, and then use a little bit of glue in between, okay? And that's the only place you want to really put the glue. This is going to stick it down really nice, and it's also going to be adhered from the inside when we cover it with other papers, okay? So then we're going to lay this guy down nice and flush, all right, and stick it down, okay? Turn it over, burnish that down, okay? All right, so that part is stuck down, it's good. We're going to move to the next piece, okay? So this is the middle spine piece here. So we're going to do the same process again. Going to put down a couple pieces of score tape. All right. Then I'm going to, uh-oh, hold on. Stuff is falling on the floor behind me. My chair's getting caught. Okay. Take that off. A little bit of glue in the middle. Okay, and again, this is the middle spine piece. Has 2 wings. Gonna adhere the front cover down right to the edge. Nice and flush. Okay. Like that, okay, and repeat, and we'll put the back cover on. Now remember, the back cover is the shorter, or I should say the less wide piece, not the shorter piece, they're all the same height, but the back cover is less wide, so it is 7 7/8 inch, and that is what we want, okay? So take this off here and put it flush. Grab your back piece that's 7 7/8 wide by 10 tall. Glue, forgot the glue. All right. And we're going to stick that down. Right to the edge. Okay. Okay. So right now this is what you have. You have your spine piece, you have your front and your back, and you have this top part that's going to cover the right side of the book, okay? Here's the front, here's the back, okay? So this is what you have right now. So now we're going to take this last piece, we're going to add this to our book, okay? And this piece is going to be added right here. So again, you want your score tape, not too close to the edge. Okay. Grab your glue. All right, last time. So we're going to lay that down. Right to the edge. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now we've got all that done. So you should have a piece that's going to look like this, okay? All right, that's how it's going to be. So this will be the front of the book. Here's the wider closure piece on the right side. It'll open up, front, back. Back is the less wide piece. And then you have your smaller piece here, okay? So we're good, we're good. So you can go through and make sure that everything is nice and folded. And then we'll turn her over and we're going to cover some pieces. So let's grab our pieces to cover. Okay, I'm back. So you're going to need the 3 pieces from your cut guide. So you will have one piece that's 5 3/4 by 9 7/8. That's going to cover the inner middle spine, okay? And then you have 2 pieces here that are 2 by 9 7/8, and that's what's going to cover over here, okay? Now you will notice that one of them looks like it's not going to work, but it will. Trust me on this one, okay? So this 2 by 7 9/8 is going to abut right up against the edge of this. This is going to get covered with pattern paper. No one is ever going to see that, okay? So we're going to take our, I've already prepared it with score tape. I like using score tape for this part. So let me get the pieces off here. See how I kind of patchworked a bunch of pieces together? That way you don't waste your score tape sheets. They're amazing. But it's like everything else scrappers do. We don't waste a thing because, you know, you never know when you're going to need it, right? Okay, so we're going to take this piece here and we're going to lay it right against, oops, I'm going to do it sideways so I can see both ends. We're going to lay it right against the edge of that chipboard, or the cardstock, excuse me, and it's going to just lay right next to each other, right over that spine. It's going to get covered with pattern paper. No one will ever see that, okay? And there was a reason why I did that, is because I was trying to save a little bit of paper, and I tried it out and it worked. So that's what we're going to do. And then to fold and burnish, just lift it up ever so slightly, run your bone folder in the crease, and then you can work it, okay? All right, here we go. Okay, so we have that piece ready to go. Okay, that's covered. Then what we're going to do is take this piece here, and this is 5 3/4 by 9 7/8. Again, we're going to take this, we're just going to cover the inside spine here. So I'm going to take this score tape off here. Okay, I'm going to do it sideways again so I can see really well. And this is going to cover this whole piece here. All right, about a 1/16 of an inch, the top and the bottom. Okay, get rid of that. Let me grab my big. Okay, and then again, we'll go for the fold here. There we go. Fold it up a little bit, find out where that crease is. Use your bone folder. Okay. Fold it down, kind of get that good crease going. Get that piece out of there for a second. All right. All right, then this last piece here, we'll just simply cover this side here. And we're gonna put it right to the edge. Well, not right to the edge, but you know, close to the edge. And then again, that will be covered with pattern paper. Okay? So, take that off. I'm gonna turn it sideways again. And I'm gonna lay this down. So it's about a 1/16 of an inch shorter than everything. There we go. And then we're going to fold that up and find the crease. Okay, kind of work that. There we go. So now we have our cover done, okay? And that's covered. So this will attach with magnets right here, okay? So that's the next step that we need to do. Okay, so this is our wraparound cover. So let's grab our magnets and put those on. These also I get from Country Craft Creations. And I love these magnets. I've used the small magnets before, but I think the large ones just work way better for huge projects like this. So I recommend getting the large ones for sure for this project. All right. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a magnet top and bottom here. Okay, just like that. Okay, make sure they're stuck down pretty good. Then I'm gonna take, should do this, that piece off. So take the adhesive off. And then what you're gonna do is just fold this up and you're just gonna match it up and stick it down, okay? A little bit fiddly to do it, but you can do it. It can be done. And then once you get the placement like right where you want it, then just squeeze it really good so that the magnets stick to the underside, okay? And there you go. So then you have your magnets down, and then you can grab some score tape and then just kind of go over it a little bit, and then that, while we're designing, will help make sure that they stay where they're supposed to. So there you go. You got your you've got your magnets stuck now. So that's going to be the closure, and it does look really nice. That is the one change that I did make, is making this back cover just a little bit less wide so that this meets up nicer and the book stays a little bit more square. So that's why I did that. If you want to keep it 8 by 10, you still can. Not a big deal. Okay, so our cover is done, and you see it stays really well together in that shape. So this is our wraparound cover. Okay, so let's put together the rest of the cover. Let's work on the inside first. Okay, so I have some pieces cut out. Now we're going to add some seam binding because that's going to help be the closure for the book. And let me again show you the seam binding to help with the inside closures are going to be attached to the back page underneath all of the pattern paper and elements and everything. So you're going to have one piece on each side, right in the middle, and then one piece will be used on the front page that will hold everything together. So we're going to add half of the seam binding for now, and we will save the other half for our page construction. So we only need 2 pieces, and I use this black seam binding that I got in my design team package. I cut it in roughly 12-inch strips, okay, and then we're going to need our papers. So I cut out these awesome papers. So I have decided that I'm going to use this blue floral for the outside covers. I just absolutely, the blue and green are my favorite. This really is amazing. So that's going to be for the outside covers. So we're going to set those aside. So this one is for the 8 by 10, and this one is for the 7 7/8 by 10 cover. Now I did cut them 1/8 of an inch shorter. So this is actually 7 3/4 by 9 7/8. This one is 7 7/8 by 9 7/8. So I cut everything 1/8 of an inch shorter so that it has a nice border. So I'm going to set these aside for now. Inside, same thing. I love the blue, and since these are going to be under some elements, I decided to use the plain paper that I purchased. Okay, and then we have to have our spine pieces. So we have 4 pieces that need to cover our big spines. So these I cut at just under 2 3/4 by 9 7/8. Okay, so we're going to need 4 of those, front and back on each side, and then we're going to need 2 pieces here, and I'm going to use the ivory side on this one for this just because I wanted to. And these are cut at 9 7/8 by 1 1/4. Okay, so these will cover both sides of this guy right here. Okay, so front and back, front and back. Okay, so before we do anything on this part, let's attach our seam binding. So I'm going to just grab my centering ruler, and the book is 10 inches tall, so I'm just going to line that up. I'm going to grab my score tape, put a little score tape at the center mark on both sides. Okay, and then I'm going to add my seam binding for the closure for the pages, and it needs to go for each side so it wraps around the pages. So we got to put it in that particular direction. Okay, I put a lot of score tape on there, didn't I? I don't need that much for now, so we'll just leave that for a sec, and then put that in the middle. Okay, going to the outside. All right, then let's grab our glue, and oh, you know what? No, we're gonna do something else first real quick. We're gonna put belly bands on the inside back covers. So you're gonna need 2 pieces for the belly bands that are 2 by 9 7/8. Okay, so 2 of those, and then what I did was I just put them in my scoreboard and I scored them at 1/2 inch on either end. Okay, and then we're gonna fold. I don't know about you guys, but I have different scoring tools and burnishing tools depending on the job, and I am kind of fussy about how I use them. Oh, and you know what? You know what I didn't do? So let's think about this. So I cut these for an 8-inch page, and I need to trim them just a wee bit for this side. So I need to go in about 1/8 of an inch on the one side and shorten this up a little bit. So I'm just going to make another score mark 1/8 of an inch in and fold it down so that it will cover the proper way. Make sure that fits in the space. It's always good to dry fit your stuff just to make sure you got it right. Okay, and then this is the piece that's less wide. It goes around. Let's make sure this all fits. because I don't want to steer you all wrong, and I think I need to trim this just a hair, so hang on just a second. Okay. Then I'm going to grab my ink again, re-ink this edge. I'm going to ink all my pages because this is a, you know, vintage book. I want to make sure it has kind of the vintage feel. All right, so here we go. All right, that's going to work just fine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to grab my centering ruler, and I'm going to make sure that this is in the middle. Hope you guys can see this. Trying not to get out of camera, okay? And center that. I'm going to try and get it as much in the center as I possibly can, which looks like, wow, I did a pretty good job. Awesome. Okay, and I'm just going to add some glue to that little tab. I'm going to glue it around. Okay, and did I get that in the center? No, of course I didn't. It looked like I did. Hold on, I'm going to move it. This is on the back of the paper. Try and take that off without wrecking everything, which I kind of did. Okay, let's try that again. Let's try that again. I don't really want to have to cut a new piece of paper. Doobie-doobie-doo. Lift that up, move it down just a wee bit. There we go. That's more better. That's more like it. In the right spot. Okay. So let's try that again. Put a little more glue down here. All right. Now I turned it over and that did not look like in the center to me. Okay. Oh, that's more better. Okay, cool. Then wrap it around. And we'll glue the other side. Okay. Then grab our book and glue this down to the inside of our book. Okay. And center that. There we go. All right. Okay. So then we have a nice belly band for large tags that we're going to make. And also a really special little element that I'm pretty excited I finally figured out. I think you're going to like it. Okay, so we got that piece done. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. So we'll grab our paper and we're going to grab, where did I do with my other? What did I do with my other piece? My other belly band, where'd it go? There it is. Found it. Okay. So again, it's going to wrap around our page. Okay. We already scored 1/2 inch on each end. Okay. All right. So let's make sure that it's nice and in the middle this time because I don't want to have to redo this one. Turn it over. We'll center it just like that and pull it over a little bit. Kind of get that right nice in the center. There we go. Okay. Is that right? Did I move the ruler again? There it is. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to hold it down, add some glue, wrap it around, and then do the same thing on the other side. Okay. Okay. Grab your book. This is going to go on the front. Now this paper that I'm putting down right now is from the solid cardstock pack that I bought to go with this design team package. And I did get it from Country Craft Creations. And again, it has 6 papers in the pack. And there's different colors to choose from, which is nice. Get that right in the middle. There we go. We will come back and cover these at another point. I just want to get the main construction of the cover done at this point. And then we will come back. That's going to be part of this series of tutorials, is doing the decorating and going through and putting the papers on, okay? So then we're going to just add our other papers to our spines. And I decided I liked the red for like a contrast, but I love the ivory too. I don't know. These papers are just so gorgeous. I just love them. I just love them. Okay, so we'll cover this. Get it nice and even. That's the beauty of using artisan glue, or art glitter glue, I should say, because it also gives you a little bit of wiggle room time if you need to, you know, redo something. So make sure. And the other thing that's good to do with the magnets is that little bit of score tape, which also helps adhere everything down over the magnets too. So that's nice. Okay, so these were 2 3/4 by 10, so I cut these at 2 5/8 by 9 7/8, and I inked the edges. And for those 2 spine pieces, you will need 4 of these strips. And then I was able to actually cover all of the spine pieces with 1 piece of paper, 1 piece of pattern paper. So what you need to do is cut your strip. Start it when you start cutting it. Cut your pattern paper. If you're going to do that, if you're going to use 1 piece of pattern paper to cover all of the spine pieces here, I started by cutting off the 9 7/8 inch piece, and then cut these pieces out, and then you had enough piece left over for this piece, and then you had the bottom strip to cut the other piece that goes on the other side of this. I hope that makes sense. All right, inside spine, and I'm going to do the ivory color this time just because I feel like it. Now you don't want to do anything else with your spines at this point as far as decoration and things, because this is where your pages are going to get adhered to. So just going to cover them with some pattern paper, and then we're going to, these are actually going to be, these 2 pieces here are actually going to be where your pages are going to be bound to, okay? So that's another reason why I'm going with some plain stuff. Okay, so turning it over, we'll cover this outside, And then our cover will be done, except for decorating, and that will be done in the last tutorial in this series. The next tutorial that we are going to do will be the page construction. And since these are mirrored and that both sides are basically the same except for the decorations, I am going to do one side off camera and then we will do the other side together, and you will be able to see as I'm doing it what we're going to be making, you know, before we actually make it. So that's one of the reasons why I'm doing it that way. So yeah, okay, lay that down, grab my, and I kind of go around my magnets really good to make sure that everything sticks. Try to get that down around the magnets. Okay. There we go. All right. Spines here. So I hope this tutorial made sense. Let me know. This is a wraparound spine, and you could definitely use this concept for other albums and then just bind your pages the traditional way, you know, in the middle of the book. You totally could do that, and then just have everything protected around. But I was going for something a little different. So, and then again, if you wanted to, you could add ribbon around for a nice pretty closure, which, you know, is totally awesome. However you want to do it. But the magnets will hold everything together. Okay. All right. So all the spine pieces are done. Then let's just grab our cover pieces. This is going to be so gorgeous. Just make sure that you got the right piece for the right page. The back is going to be a little bit shorter, or less wide. Let's say it the proper way. Less wide. So it's going to be cut at 7 3/4 by 9 7/8. Okay, for the back. 7 3/4 by 9 7/8. All right, let's add my glue. We'll get this stuck down. Okay. Lay that down. Okay. And I hope you're okay with the way that I'm doing this tutorial. I know it is different than the way I usually do my tutorials. This project is just so big that I didn't really know of any other way of doing it. But the prototype is just so gorgeous that I wanted to show it. I don't normally, you know, show my prototypes that I make. Although I should. I mean, they usually turn out pretty cool, but I had to show you what we were going to make. That's for sure. This album is going to be really, really cool. I think you're really going to like it. Okay. All right. Down a little bit. There we go. There we go. Okay, so cover is done. Okay, inside and outside. So this piece, this will be used later when we do our pages. This is going to fold over and stick down with the magnets like that. That's going to keep it nice and closed. We've got this nice lay flat binding that's really nice, and then when you open it up, it lays nice and flat. This is turning out super cool so far. So far so good. So we're doing good. All right, so this is part 1 of our tutorial. This is my Simply Vintage Ancestry album with the wraparound cover, and I will be back soon to show you the page construction. So thanks for watching. Have a really awesome day. Stay safe and stay well. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.